Alrighty, so let's keep moving with our fairy tales. So on my screen, I got kind of a mini anchor chart, a mini poster of things to help you as you are continuing with your fairy tale this week. So it's super important that when you're writing fairy tales, even if you don't have pictures in it, that you can use specific words to help paint that picture in the reader's mind, to make that mental movie, which we've talked about a lot for these past few lessons. So I have up at the top, it says language paints a beautiful picture. And underneath it are some bullet points to give some examples of what you could do. Use describing words, reach for precise, exact words, meaning that your words are specific. You're not saying he walked to the store if he was jumping and doing cartwheels. You're very specific with the words you're using. You could use opposites to show differences. Use repetition of sounds, words, or lines. So you could repeat the same phrase or the same word. That definitely helps paint a picture. And you can make a comparison. And sometimes when you compare, you can use words like or as. Those are two really great comparison words that you could use. So here's part of my story. It says Cinderella was always working. One day she was in the kitchen making lunch for her stepsisters. They were sitting in the living room watching TV. They heard a knock at the door. Cinderella, the door won't answer itself, her stepsister said. I'm coming, Cinderella answered, walking to the door. Now, before we left, we talked about using specific words. So especially when there's dialogue, when people are talking, I shouldn't see the word said, 5, 6, 7 times in a row. So if we're talking about her stepsisters and the door rings, and there's a knock at the door, her stepsister probably isn't saying super politely, Cinderella, please answer the door. If it's her evil stepsister, maybe she's yelling or she's hollering or she's smirking. So I'm going to use the word said. Cinderella, the door won't answer itself. Her stepsister hollered from her big, puffy chair. I can definitely picture her stepsister in this huge chair, hollering, not wanting to get up because she's so lazy, to say, Cinderella, the door won't answer itself. Okay. I'm coming, Cinderella answered, walking to the door. I'm going to leave that for right now, but I'm going to come back. So let's see if there's a spot where I could use an opposite. It says, one day she was in the kitchen making lunch for her stepsisters. They were sitting in the living room watching TV. They heard a knock at the door. The knock made her stepsisters jump as if they've never heard a knock before. Okay, so it's not necessarily an opposite, but I can definitely picture her stepsisters jumping. They're watching TV, they're very relaxed, they're probably almost kind of in a daze because they're maybe watching hours of TV. And just like how when maybe you're working really hard and you hear a noise kind of makes you jump a little, I can picture that in my head. So Cinderella was working. Always working. Working in the morning until the sun went down. Cinderella was walking like a slave. Fix that. So I compared Cinderella to working like a slave because I made her work so much. Okay. I'm coming, Cinderella answered, walking to the door. Now, if she's working in the kitchen, she's making lunch, she's probably cleaning, she's probably doing all these things at once. She's probably starting to maybe get a little bit tired. So instead of walking to the door, sometimes people kind of don't pick up their feet when they're walking. They're kind of trudging along. I might say she trudged to the door, trying to regain whatever strength she had left. Okay. So, what I want you to work on today is pick a part in your story, and I want you to try to use some of these skills that are up in the top. Can you use describing words? Are you using precise words? Are you repeating a phrase? Is there a way that you can compare your character to something else? Because by using these specific skills and strategies in your writing, your reader can definitely make that picture in their minds as they are reading your fairy tale.